Welcome back to my channel. In this series I am going to fix all the dents, scratches, peeling clear coat, rust and holes in this Jaguar XJ8 Executive. I picked it up about 800 miles from where I live. Nothing is around the corner in France unless you want a French car. I had a French car back in 1982, brand new but a nightmare on wheels. Let's not go into that. This is about a rusty cat. Reason I bought it was my girlfriend wanted it, but in the end she didn't want to drive it. Let's do a walk around. This is what I call a 30-foot car, meaning, from 30 foot it looks nice, actually. Let's start by looking at the interior. Besides a few little things there is not much wrong. Very nice wood and thick leather everywhere. The styling of the dash is nice but not special. For a car in this class I did expect some more extravagance. On the other hand, everything is there. The center console is well equipped. There are things like telephone controls, CD player controls, valet button, automatic air conditioning and so on. There is no CD player in this car, but you can hook it up quite easily. The instrument cluster is very clear. Everything you need is present, although it's a bit sober. In the window of the counter you can step through the onboard computer, which will give you info about consumption, faults and so on. 178,000 kilometers on it, about 110,000 miles, which isn't too bad. Then look at those seats. The leather gives a feeling of being in a very expensive gentleman's club. They are almost better to sit in than the sofa in my living room. Very comfortable, and you can really make long voyages without getting tired or cramps anywhere. Same goes for the back seats. While the longer version was meant to be chauffeur-driven, the executive in the back has a very nice place to be as well. Looking over the financial papers while being driven to the next appointment, he or she has absolutely nothing to complain about. A quick look in the trunk. Spacious, but the floor has a step in it. That is to accommodate the very big battery that's in there. Also a brief look at the engine. This is the 3.2-liter V8. It is fully serviced and even the timing chain has been replaced. It had a recent emissions test and all was A-OK. Like I stated before, at 30 feet distance it looks absolutely great. Nice color as well. It is not British racing green but spruce green. It's a bit darker, but it suits the car perfectly. Now, let's finally take a look close up. There is a deep scratch in the rear fender at the driver's side. It has to be filled and painted. At places the paint is just terrible, full of scratches, but I may be able to polish them out. Damage and rust on the front fender at the driver's side of the car. Also the bumper has to be realigned. Nasty scratches and a very bad repair on the passenger side. A long horizontal scratch covering both doors. Passenger side rear wheel arch. Rust from the inside, which probably involves welding to repair. A dent in that same wheel arch at the front side of it. It looks like this car hit a guide rail at some point in its life. This dent I can't explain. Maybe somebody riding a bike did this. Rust on the left front fender. I have to see if I can get that strip off to repair this. Peeling clear coat. This car really has everything a body shop loves. Will cost a small fortune to get all of this right. Just another random scratch. I wonder what happened to this car. Did the previous owner just not care? Slight bumper damage. Well, that is the only normal damage for a car this age. Rust and some more rust. Jaguars are prone to rusting on the wheel arches, but this quite extreme, as you will see later on. And then some small pocks somewhere else again. On top of that it has stone chips and overall bad paint work. Let's start somewhere. Any spot is as good as the other. Starting here. I took the grinder with a flap wheel to get the paint off, and within seconds I was in a cloud of dust. Seems like this arch has been filled over and over again to get it look nice. I tell you right now, if you don't take care of the rusted metal underneath, it is just no use. It will come back. So, I will take out all of the rusted metal and see what I am left with after that. After giving it some thought, I decided to make a patch panel first. That way I don't have to copy and mirror the other side of the car for this piece. I made a template from paper. I know most of you like cardboard, but I prefer paper. After spending quite some time test fitting and shaping it, I was happy with the result. It's not perfect yet, but the main shape is there. When I was busy doing that, I realized how much composite curving is actually going on. At that point I took the grinder and got rid of the rust. Just cut out that piece completely. Well, you can see what was behind it. I was not happy, but then again it was to be expected. I made a strip to keep the curvature of the inner wheel arch. That way I can just cut everything out of there as well and start patching it up. Only gave it a spot weld at each end. This piece is not going to stay in, it is just meant as a guide so the arch won't end up crooked. Making patches while cutting away the rusted parts as I went along. I preferred to make the restoration of the inner wheel well in smaller pieces because I used thicker steel. It is not as easy to shape it when it is one big piece. You can see the guide served its purpose. At this point I have to make one more piece and weld it in. It is a good thing I was not in a hurry. Last piece is in and I think it looks marvelous. Next thing to do is clean it up completely, give it an anti-rust treatment and put a coating on. Back to the outside patch panel. It had to be fine-tuned now the stuff that was under it is gone. Imagine I am not a panel beater nor have worked in the automotive industry, this is all hobby. Here you can see how much action is actually going on in the patch panel. It's quite a complex form because it bends to every side you can imagine. When I was happy with the shape I sprayed it with weld-through primer. While it is still wet you get a better understanding of the shape. Spot welded the patch panel in and when it was fully welded I sealed the seams. I am not going to bother you with some 20 pictures of the welding progress, so let's move on to the next step. Masked off the area with old newspapers. Got my primer out and gave it the first coat. I always give it 2 coats just to be sure. Second coat on. This is not high build primer, so I am not going to sand it before I put the base coat on. At the time I did not have a big air compressor, so I had to use spray cans. 3 layers of base coat and 2 layers of clear coat are on. It really looks nice. Most important thing is it won't rust anymore. I could just have sanded it down and make the same mistake people before me did, but I do the job right or I don't do it at all. What is the use of it being repaired for a year, maybe even half a year? You still put the effort and materials like Bondo and paint in, better do it right the first time. If you don't have a welder or you can't weld at all, just prepare everything and have a professional welder take care of the rest. Will cost a bit, but you are done for years to come. This is absolutely a very good result using just spray cans. This is how the paint laid down without sanding or buffing. Of course I have to buff the quarter panel to blend the new paint into the existing paint. If I may say so myself, it's a job well done considering I did not have any specialized tools at the time, just the ambition to get it right. And mind you, I'm absolutely not a professional in this line of work. This concludes this first part in this series. Hope you enjoyed it and be sure you get to watch the next episode. There is some awkward stuff to come. Thanks for watching and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.